Instagram and on YouTube, and I watched all of their content, and I don't get it. My trip did not look anything like their trip. And we thought, oh, well, of course it didn't look like, your trip didn't look like what was edited and posted on Instagram, because it's fake. And people were like putting this high expectation on their travels for it to become perfect, and they needed to get that exact same photo for their Instagram that they saw their influencer post, and nobody is able to achieve that because it's fake, it's edited, it's photoshopped. And what's missing from those blog posts and from those YouTube videos is that it's way too romanticized and glorified and filtered. And the unhappy parts of traveling, the stressful parts, the frustrating parts, the sweatiness of it, the lost in translation, the ups and downs of it, the lost and the rainy days where you miss your sunset, and those things are not added into the video, or that was not posted on the Instagram feed. And it really started to affect people in how they believe traveling should look like. And so we started speaking to people who were saying, don't go to a country with this preconceived idea of how it should be, and don't tell yourself you're a bad traveler because you didn't get an Instagram perfect trip. You know what I mean? It was really frustrating to talk to people like that and see them so disappointed. And also, when we asked people, for example, oh, how did you like A? How did you like B? And they were like, oh, it's a very beautiful place with an ambiance of this and that. And they were like basically regurgitating the Lonely Guide Planet and the Instagram blog post that they read about it. And I was like, Gaspar and I are thinking, so all of these people are over-researching and over-reading about the destination. So they already know about the destination because they read it from their blogger they follow, and they're not creating their own experience and their own opinion about the place. And it's so taboo to be like, oh, I hated that place, it was too crowded. Oh, I didn't like the place, it wasn't that great. Like, no one is allowed, in the travel community, nobody is allowed to say, I did not like A, I did not like B. Because it's shameful, it's a taboo. Everyone has to just like everything. Oh yeah, I liked it. It had a nice ambiance. It's like everyone's regurgitating the Lonely Planet guide. And it's like, why don't you just create an opinion for yourself? Don't care about what other people said about it. Don't over-research the place you went to, so you can't create your own opinion and your own experience about it. And don't be shy. What if, yeah, so what? Just because you didn't have a great experience at that place doesn't mean it's a bad place. It's just unlucky that you personally had a bad experience in that place, and someone else may have had a great experience. Doesn't mean that that you were wrong. It just means that that person had a good time and you didn't. And that's it. It doesn't mean that you did something wrong. It doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It doesn't mean you're a bad traveler. And it shouldn't be taboo. Everyone has their own experiences, and I think we're too afraid to do that now as a traveler. Real but Dubs, thank you so much for your bits. Sorry for my rant. Thank you. Anyway, on that note, the reason why we really liked streaming our travels is that it was finally a way. No, of course I don't. That's why, on that note, the reason we loved the idea of live streaming our travels was because we can't edit out the bullshit. We can't edit out the bad parts. If we have an okay so-so day, fine. We live streamed it, and every day can't be perfect. And some days it rains. Some days, something's closed and it ruins our plans. Some days are freaking fantastic. Some days you get sick. We're all about keeping it real. Exactly. And that's why we found Twitch and live streaming our travels so interesting. And I think maybe that's why it's not that popular yet, because people who are travel content creators are selling a lifestyle, and that lifestyle must be romanticized. That's just the way the marketing is, right? So we're very niche in that sense, not just on Twitch as a platform, but in the travel community, we're niche in that sense. And not a lot of, there are more and more these days where content creators are becoming more down to earth and more open about their true experiences. But when the online travel community came to be a few years ago, it was all about editing it and making it look pretty and making it a perfect post. And we're still breaking away from that now. There are differences between someone traveling high-end and the people who travel on a small budget. Yes, but there are many content creators who travel on a small budget and focus their content on budget traveling. That's not my point. My point is that no matter how you're traveling, whether it's on a luxury budget or a backpacker's budget, they're always going to glorify it in some shape or form. You know what I mean? And that, I don't know if this is what you meant, but to me, 8K Lance, to me, what you're saying is if you're on a backpacker's budget, you're automatically going to have a more miserable time. I really don't agree with that. And if you're on a more luxury vacation holiday budget, things will not go wrong. And that's not true either. Well, I'm not sure how to say your username, so I'm going to call you ZDR. That has nothing to do with traveling or not. That's just common courtesy. And of course, I'm not saying don't research where you're going. I really hope you do some research before you go. But I was talking about certain particular things, like don't overread the Lonely Planet guide before you go visit a monument, because you won't be able to learn for yourself and get your own opinion from it. I'm not trying to twist my words into saying go travel blindly, because that is obviously not